Okay, so heading back out here, and let's turn those off because otherwise they'll play the simulation, you know, whenever we press play on the keyboard there. So next, another geometry, and I'm going to look at attributes. BD attributes. Okay, so let's go in here. Let's find another test geometry. Let's see, what can we use? How about the squab? Kind of weird creature. So let's use the, let's see, let's do a boolean. I don't know, just to do different stuff. I'm using the old one here, but you know, that's fine. Kind of has not circles. I want a sphere, and then I'm going to turn this into polygons. Scatter again. Copy to points. Let's get my points, get my circle. Let's get less points. Let's do 200 or so. Plug that in there. This one is a bit slower actually. Let's cancel that, delete it, and I'll find that Boolean fracture. Okay, geometry, oops, that in there, this in here, and then hopefully that will be a bit faster. Now, something we're doing, I think there's just too much geometry going into it. Let's drop this down to like 20. We'll give it some more resolution like that. Let me just turn off that shader. Exploded view, just to take a look at our geometry. There we go. So we've got this all fractured up. So attributes. So let's we'll just use the bullets solver for now. Okay, and I'm just going to raise it up so we can, you know, move it around after fracturing and stuff. That's fine. Let's move it up to get a ground plane, and then obviously that just falls and breaks. Okay, so yeah, we can put attributes on here before it goes into the solver, which will have different kinds of effects on it. One which is really handy is velocity. So we could just drop a, let's see, what can we use? One I like to use is the particle, I think. No, point velocity. There it is. Okay, so with this, what you can do, so this will compute velocity, but we don't have any animation, so that won't do anything. But what we can do is add some curl noise onto this. So this will, you can take a look there, it's just adding a random velocity onto this. And now if we play that, it should be read by the bullet solver. Can you see that? So it's quite subtle there, but it breaks up before, well, if we get rid of this, then they'll all just fall straight down. So, you know, this is great for explosions, you know, giving, for animated geometry, you know, sometimes you need the pieces to follow along when they get fractured, stuff like that. If I push this up, we'll get more of a dramatic kind of explosion there. So that's cool. So this gives you velocity. You also want to use angular velocity, which is spin. So if we get a attribute randomize, okay, plug that in there, and we change this to W. It is a vector, so we want 3 dimensions. Okay, we could just play it now. You can see it's still doing something. Oh, if I get rid of that, see, it's doing something. It's quite subtle, but we need to kind of bump up these values. If we do like 100 in each of them, try that. There we're getting probably a bit too much there. Let's try 5, 10, and just kind of do different values here, so it spins in different over a different axis in a different way. There we go. We're getting something more interesting there. Okay, you can use the inside sphere, I think, and then push the scale up as well. See that? So now they're all spinning in different directions. Cool. Try like 30. There we go. Cool. What else? So another common one is to use the active attributes. So for that, we'll use a wrangle. Okay. And make a group. So let's make a group. We'll just keep in bounding regions on the points. Okay, so yeah, all attributes going into the bullet solver will be on points. Let's call this active. Okay, and we'll do it in bounding box. And let's do like that. This is not packed now, so it should still work. Typically, I would pack something and then do this after, but you know, this kind of RBD bullet solver in SOPs is quite clever is good at, you know, taking that information in and packing it, and we'll see if it works. If not, we'll have to do it beforehand. So the group, I'll just type it in, active, okay, and then say I at active is 0, so everything in that box is not active and then won't be affected by the forces in the simulation. So that's not working. Let's just double check. So that probably means we do need to pack it beforehand. So just drop a pack, create a name attribute there. Sorry, use the name attribute and transfer that name attribute. Probably doesn't matter actually. Let's see if that works now. Still doesn't. Maybe doing something wrong there. Oh, I know why. So we need to, yeah, so make 2 of these. And we need to set everything to be active and then override. So, you know, if I only have the 1, then the default will be 0 on all of them, if you know what I mean. So I'm setting everything to active and then overwriting that with the parts that I don't want to be active. So now, fingers crossed, it works, yeah. And then we should be able to like animate this as well. If I just quickly alt click to make a keyframe there, go forward a few frames and then move it. Okay, and then hopefully you'll see them gradually kind of, oh, sorry, I've done that the wrong way around. See, they're becoming inactive there. So what we could do is set this to 1 and this to 0, and it will do the opposite. Let's try that. And see how it kind of gradually grow across there now. So that's cool. An easier way to do all of this, you know, sometimes with the active group you need to do it this way, but an easier way, the pack, this you can't do, but all of this we can do with the, and more, we can do with the RBD configure. So in here, we have options for making things active. So again, I can do this use bounds. Okay, and then do, where is it? Bounding box. So I'm making this box using bounds to set this attribute, and I can visualize that attribute. So it's black and green. I never remember which way around it is. Let's just do that. So see what that does. There we go. So the parts in the middle, the green is active and the black is inactive. And again, you can animate that. Also here you can add, change the collision shape. So if you want some of the geometry to be seen as a box, okay, in the simulation, if you remember the collision shapes that we spoke about, we can do ignoring collisions, speed limits. This is really good for art directing your simulations to make things look big or small or heavy or light. Physical attributes, the same. Emission, we can have things be emitted. Let's just try that really quick. I don't really use that very often, but could be interesting. No, doesn't work there. I think we probably have to turn it on in here. There we go. Now they're just kind of overlapping, but that's emitting, it's working. And then what's great here is you can use groups and do different things for different pieces of your geometry, which is really handy for, you know, complex scenes. For a building, you know, you have some pieces glass, you'll want different physical attributes, different collision shapes, and that's really nice to be able to do it all inside this one node. If you're maybe using an old version of Houdini, which can happen in some studios, you don't have to have this. You'll see that what we're doing is just setting up certain attributes. Let's see, on the proxy geometry, should be on the points. So there you can see we've got the active attributes. So you can just set this in a wrangle like we did here. You got bounce for physical attributes, the bullet geo rep. So that are you going to be a box? Are you going to be a convex hull? So you can just write all of this to in wrangles or in an attribute create, whatever. All of this stuff is just attributes on your points, and but this is just way more convenient.